Guys, come on in the room. I am so excited to be able to chat with you today. If you can hear me and see me, let me know in that chat box. Make sure that everything is working the way that it should. And I am just so excited that we get to talk about the Adapted Bible Curriculum today. Let me know where you're joining from. I am in North Carolina. I'm kind of at the edge of the mountains, the foothills, leaving for the beach here in a few days. We're leaving on Saturday. So, um, Texas, awesome. Texas, couple of different Texas. Hopefully, you guys are good through the hurricane and everything. I'm not sure exactly where those locations are. I think Fort Worth was pretty good with the hurricane, but we have some family who live in Houston and they're still without power. So hopefully you guys are doing good. But if you and I have not met, my name is Courtney Jenkins. I am a former special education teacher, and I served in a special education classroom for 5 years. But I originally went to school for biblical studies and have my degree in religion. And the Lord took me on an interesting path to end up going back to school for special education adapted curriculum. And now I get the privilege to help families and churches be able to effectively teach the Bible to students with intellectual disabilities. So I'm excited to be able to get to share with you more about the curriculum that I've created. We're just coming up on our 1-year anniversary this week of the curriculum. So just excited to show you all the different components and how your church or your family can be a part. Oh, we've got another North Carolina person here, California. Awesome. All right, so make sure that you stay with me until the end. We're going to be with each other maybe about 45 minutes, up to an hour, but I have a free sample for you. So over 70 pages of resources. So this is a different sample lesson than you would get on our website. So this is just for you guys for joining me for the curriculum chat. So I'll have that for you at the end. All right, before we really hop into looking at the curriculum components, I want to know, I'm going to pop a poll up here. And how would you be using the curriculum? Would you be using it for a church, for your family, or for a Christian school? That will help me as we talk to know more about how you guys are going to be using it. Okay, so mostly churches, but we have a couple of families here. So we'll definitely cover both so you can have an idea of what the differences are. All right, so let's hop into talking about the challenges when it comes to disability ministry and discipleship for individuals with disabilities. I know that you, because you're here, you desire to see your learners understand the Bible and come to know and love God. That's our heart at All in Wonder, and I know that it's your heart as well. But there is a constant struggle to find resources that will work, or that you're having to spend so much time making adaptations to things maybe that your church is already using, or things that you have at home that you just don't feel like you can spend the time that you want actually serving and ministering to your families. And I know that you desire depth in an accessible way, but that is a challenge. Sometimes we can water things down so much that we're losing the truths, and we don't want to do that. And so I saw all of these challenges, and that is why I created All in Wonder. The heartbeat of All in Wonder is the gospel is for everyone, and we believe that any of the students that we serve are made in the image of God and need to hear the gospel. And so that's what we create these resources to do. So the curriculum I created, launched it last July. So we're coming up on our first full year, and I'm excited to hop into our next year. I'm going to explain more about how our scope and sequence works, so you can understand that a little bit better. But first, what would having a Bible curriculum specifically designed for students with intellectual disabilities change for you? So if you are ministering at a church, What would having a pre-made curriculum do for you? What doors could it open up for you? What time would it allow you to have? And parents, what would it mean for you if you had a resource to disciple your kids? I would love to hear from you in the chat. Anybody want to share? As you guys are writing, I'm going to share just some things that some of our subscribers, our current subscribers, have shared about their experience having a ready-made curriculum. So this one right here, Corey, she shared that the curriculum was so thorough that she didn't have to do anything but print. If you are used to having to adapt and make changes to curriculum, you can know that that can be helpful for you. And then the curriculum scales for each person individually. So we have all the same lessons. So if you have students on different levels, we're going to talk about how we can serve students in all different ability levels. Lydia talked about how it allows her to focus on her participants, their families, and her volunteers. She's not bogged down with lesson planning each week. Betsy was really struggling to adapt the curriculum being used and trying to just make it work. And now she feels like it's a perfect fit. Amanda talked about help engage kiddos in a better way, help with some of the challenges, from adapting other curriculums that our churches uses. Okay, so Jimmy, you use the curriculum in your special needs classroom now. Awesome. So glad to hear that. So today we're going to be talking about, for those of you who are not familiar with the curriculum, who haven't used it before, you probably are trying to look online and figure out how would this work for me, and you may have some questions. So I want to be here to answer those for you. So we're going to answer the questions: how does the curriculum work? What does it include? What differences are there between the church and the family subscription? And what ages can it be used for? So first of all, when you're talking to maybe your pastoral team or whoever needs to kind of approve the curriculum purchase, a lot of times the question that they get or that they have for you is, what does adapted Bible curriculum mean? If you're not in the special education world, you may not understand that adapted word. And so what we mean by adapted Bible curriculum is that it's research-based. We're using special education research-based practices and incorporating those into teaching the Bible stories. We use visual supports, so symbol supports that are used for AAC communication embedded in the curriculum. We simplify the language of the Bible stories. We make the activities and the Bible storytelling very experiential. We provide different levels, and we strive to stay as true to the text as we can, because we are absolutely dedicated to theological truth and making sure that we are being rich in what we provide. So developmentally appropriate and theologically rich, those have to go hand in hand. So how can we provide that developmentally appropriate content while also, on the other hand, being theologically rich? And that's what All in Wonder seeks to do. All right, so how does it work? We have our scope and sequence for the year, and Old Testament stories we focus on in the fall. We're walking through the big story of the Bible once a year with this curriculum. And so from August through November, end of November into December, we're talking about Old Testament stories. And then in December, we're talking about Christmas. And then in the spring, we hit on our New Testament stories and focus on Easter during the month that Easter falls on. And then in the summer, we focus on Christian living and life application lessons. And that's June and July's focus. So through that, you're walking your students each year through the big story of the Bible. And you don't, if you're a part of the curriculum more than 1 year, it's not the same lessons every time. So we're hitting on different stories because there's no way that you can do 52 lessons and hit every story in Scripture. So we're hitting on different stories to walk through that bigger story each year. So we have a scope and sequence that goes through every week, planned through summer of 2026. It tells you all of the themes for the months and all of the stories that will be covered. And I have that available for you here. It also has that slide that I just showed. Actually, I've got two handouts to share with you. The first one is an information guide. Let me share that with you. It's going to pop up over here in the chat area, and you can download that. So if you want to have a copy of this to be able to share with a pastor or someone, or if you just want to be able to read through more about the curriculum, that information guide is there for you. And then I also have this chart and the scope and sequence available for you. And that is in this resource. So go ahead and download those. You've got your information guide and the scope and sequence, and you can have an idea of everything that will be included. All right, so let's talk about how our monthly units are structured, because we do have monthly units, and then each week there is a different story. So this is an example of one of our adapted books for the month of May. This is what we used. And then there is a different Bible story focused on this theme of the month for each week. So you've got your big theme and then your stories related to the theme. So what does a monthly unit include? So first you have your adapted books. We're going to talk about those more in detail here in a few minutes. That's really the foundation of our curriculum. And then we have what we call repeated readers. Let me grab an example here for you. So our adapted books are the bigger books that have the stories for each week. And then the repeated readers, we just added these in June. So this is a newer resource that you get every month. But it takes what we call our repeated storylines, which we'll talk about here in a minute when we talk about the adapted books, but it repeats those. And this is a repeated reader that you can read over and over again throughout the month to just reinforce those main ideas that go along with the stories. So it has movable pieces. All of this is a digital resource, so it's all sent to you and you have instructions for how to assemble and all of that. But that is how the repeated readers work. You also get a symbol-supported memory verse for each month. So it looks like this. So you have a different verse each month that you can have students work to memorize if they're able, or just we want to expose students to scripture. So we're using the same verse over and over again throughout the month. Then we also have a communication board that looks kind of like this, and that relates to the stories for the month. And then we also provide parent resources. I don't have an example of this with me right now, but we have like a sheet that if you're a church subscriber, it has like information that you can fill out for each week with the student's name and then notes about what happened in kids ministry or whatever setting that you're using it in. You also have permission as a church subscriber to share the adapted books with your families. And so that can be digitally or with a physical copy. And that just promotes that discipleship at home. That's really important. And then we have our weekly lesson guides. So each week, so that story that's in the adapted book for the week, you then have a lesson guide that has 4 different activities each time that relate to that Bible story. We already think through adaptions for you. So if you have nonverbal students or you have students in wheelchairs, things like that, we make notes of adaption ideas that would be helpful. All of our activities, we try and think through like sensory focused, sensory based, and those are just really fun for our students to help teach that story and reinforce it. Then you get a multisensory storytelling guide as part of that weekly lesson guide. And that looks like this, and it has the different pages of the adapted book, and then it has some type of object or movement or sound or something like that that students can do or listen to or touch that really helps you engage them in telling the Bible story. And then you also get a visual craft for each week that's related to the Bible story. So it walks step by step through how to complete the craft and has a picture of each step. It's hard to show on the camera. So that's how that works. So let's talk more about the adapted books, because like I said, it is the foundation of our curriculum. We have 4 different levels of the adapted books, and they're differentiated. So we start with level AA, which is our lowest level, and it goes up to level C. As a subscriber, whether you are a church subscriber or a family subscriber, you have access to all 4 levels. So you can mix and match for different students. So you don't have to select which one works best. You can have access to all of them. You may decide that you only want to use one for like your classroom instruction on a Sunday morning or something like that, but you can then send different versions of different levels home with the students so that they can participate in the way that fits best for them. So our level AA usually has 1 to 2 sentences, and it has the symbol supports embedded within the text. Our level A usually has 3, maybe 4 sentences and has the visual supports. B has around 4 sentences or so per page, and it has the spacing for easier reading. And it's just a little more simplified than our level C. So level C is our highest level, and we try and keep that on about a 2nd grade reading level. So that kind of gives you an idea of where that would be. Are there any questions about the adapted books before I move on to the next part of the curriculum? Because I definitely want you to have any questions answered about that. I will show you, as you're thinking, if you have any questions, what I mentioned about the repeated storyline, that's at the bottom. So we have movable pieces that can go along with this that has the repeated storyline. This is like the main idea that we want students to walk away from the lesson really understanding. So this example is Moses. And so the repeated storyline is God protected baby Moses. And you can add Velcro pieces if you want and have students who are nonverbal match that up. We encourage those who are verbal to be able to verbally say the repeated storyline, even if they can't read, to verbalize that after each page. So for each, not sticking correctly right now, for each page of that week's story, it's the same repeated storyline, and then you'll have a new repeated storyline for the next week. And then we also have pieces that you can add in. And again, these movable pieces are optional, so you don't have to use them if you don't want to. But for students who are on level AA and level A especially, they oftentimes really enjoy this, the movable pieces portion. So you can have matching of the main picture there and the repeated storyline. All right, so let's talk more about the weekly lesson guides and the resources that you get there. So within that lesson guide for our church subscribers, this is showing you the different components or like sections of the lesson. So you have a welcome activity as students are coming in, just an activity that you can have out for students to start doing. And then we have Inspire Wonder activities. So there's 3 of those, and those really are helping you to pre-teach concepts that they'll need to know for the Bible story and just engage them in what the Bible story is going to be about. And then you've got your Bible story time, that sensory storytelling script like I showed you. We have a section for worship. We provide a list of songs. If you have, like a TV or something, you might be able to pull that up. And we use like a Spotify playlist, so it's not things that we produce, but things that relate to the story. And then we provide a simple prayer prompt to pray with your students, and then provide a craft activity to do to wrap things up. And then there's also a home connection that just shows you the information that you can send home to parents. All right, so the family subscription, some of you said that you are looking for that. I will tell you that what I'm going to show you now is a little bit different. If you've downloaded the sample before on my website, we are changing up the format just a little bit to make it more adaptable for you. So I've had a couple of requests about changing up the format and making it to where you can make it work best for your family. So we'll be adding a new sample lesson soon, but you're getting a first look at what that looks like. So it's the same activities and Bible story and everything that's in the church subscription. And then you have within that all of the activities, but you're able to split the activities up into different days for the week. And then you've got your Bible story, so you've still got the same sensory guide, but we also provide ideas of how to make that a little bit different throughout the week. What other ways can you share the Bible story? Extend the learning, so that may be like a coloring sheet, or it may be a video or a song, things like that. And then you've got the prayer prompt for the week. The Spotify playlist, the Spotify playlist is just the music from Spotify, and then I provide a YouTube playlist that has videos that are related to the stories, but they're like Bible story videos. They're not like songs with motions or things like that, but I'm sure you could look up some of the songs that were like on the Spotify playlist and find motions for those. You're welcome. All right. So part of that family subscription, let me actually make this screen. Hold on. No, I don't know how to do that. Sorry. I was going to try and make myself bigger so you could see, but I don't know how to do that, so we're not. But this outlines each day. We kind of give you, or this shows the different weeks of the month, and then we give you an example of how to break up the curriculum into each day of the week. So you've got your different activity, Bible story, extend the learning, and prayer, but then we also provide one that you can fill in yourself. So if that doesn't work for your schedule, you can fill it in however works best for you. And then this, you have the same activities, all of that. And then this shows you the different ways to tell the Bible story. And then it also has daily pages. So it has a spot for you to write down what activity you're going to do, how you're going to tell the Bible story, any extend the learning activities, a prayer, and then just a note section for you for the day. So that we provide that for every day of the week. And then there's also a parent journal page that you can just journal through your prayers for the week, write down a moment that really stuck out to you in discipleship for that week, things like that. All right, so like I was saying, with both subscriptions, you do get the YouTube playlist of videos related to the Bible story, and you get a Spotify playlist that has songs related to the theme for the month. We also provide Pinterest idea boards if you have like decorating that you want to do, or like kind of a family night. So it has just some decorating ideas or food ideas that you could use to just kind of have a theme night or decorate in your church classroom. All right, so I'm going to take you behind the scenes and show you the member dashboard, kind of give you a demo of what that looks like. So let me pull this up. So you would first go to All in Wonder's main website, and then we have our login button here. You would choose whether you're a church subscriber or a family subscriber. I'm going to go in for the church since most of you are for that. Normally it would come up with a login screen, but I'm already logged in, so I didn't do that. But you get access to the current month's curriculum, you get access to the previous month, and you get access to the next month. And so all of that switches on the first of every month for our church subscribers. So for our family subscribers, it's a little bit different. You get access to the current month and the following month, and that switches over on the 15th of the month. So it's just a little different for you guys. But let me hop into July's so you can see that, and then we'll look at the video training library and some additional resources. So each month you would be able to select between like the monthly files or the weekly lessons. You have all of the adapted books here that you can download, the repeated reader, your monthly printables. I can show you that. So you also get like a Bible verse take-home card that you can print. And then here's your playlist. And then you've got, this is the My Day at Church form that I was telling you about. So you have that you can give to parents. Let's see. Let me go back to the screen here. All right, so we've got that, and then all of your movable pieces that we talked about. We have a place that you can just download all the files at one time, so you're not having to do individual files. And then we also have a volunteer share link. So if you need to be able to send your volunteers, like, hey, this is the supplies or the resources that you would need for this week, you can look through the lesson plan, all of that. We provide a Google Drive link of all the files so that you can share those with your volunteers. And then I provide an ASL memory verse video for each month. So that is just one that really teaches you more than like for the kids. So you would learn it and then you would share it with your kids. And then the weekly lesson plans. You have all of the plans in one file, so it's easy print. You can just print them all at one time, or download all of the files included here at one time. Or if you prefer to do it week by week, we have that broken up for you as well. So you've got your lesson plans, your activity pages, your visual craft guide, and then sometimes there are sensory sound clips. So we encourage using recordable buttons. You can use these with those movable pieces or with our sensory sound clips. So this is an example of like a water sound clip for one of our stories. And so you can hear that, and that adds to that sensory experience when they're doing the Bible story. Let me show you the activity pages, what that would look like. Of course, it's different every week, but this is an example of what that would be. It tells you like the title of the printable, and so that's referenced in the lesson guide, and then it tells you like how many copies you need to print per class, or if it needs to be per student, things like that. So that's just an example of the weekly activities for one of the stories. Let me hop back over here. So all of that for each week of the month. And you have that for those months. Let's also look at the video training library. So we have videos about using the curriculum as you get started, walks you through more about those. You can edit our lesson plan guides. You're not able to edit the files that have symbols in them, like our stories and things like that, because of just commercial licensing agreements with the symbol companies. But the lesson plan guides themselves, you can edit, like if you need to make an adaptation into the lesson. Assembly, things like that. And then strategies for teaching. So continually adding new things there for you. And then there's just a few on that church accessibility. Whoops, went too far back. And then we have our resource library. So we have tools that you can use either at home or in the classroom at school or church. We have some Christian schools who use it as well, if your church has a Christian school. But you get visual schedules, you get allergy posters, all different kinds of just things that can be helpful to teach. We have a couple of event guides. So if you're looking to have like an event for families with special needs, those are provided for you. And then we also have a library of just extra adapted books that you can use to supplement the curriculum. All right, so that is the member dashboard. Are there any questions about that? Go ahead and stop sharing here. All right, so let me look at these questions. Yes, you can share the training videos with your volunteers. So they are a private YouTube link, which means that they're not listed on like my YouTube channel, but you can click on them and it will allow you to share the link. So you can do that and send it to your volunteers. All right, so Cindy, I'm looking for something to supplement a midweek program. Awana, so are you using it for a church or just for your student at home? If you're using it for a church, it's the pricing and everything is based on tiers of like how many students are using it. So you would need a church subscription if you're using it for multiple students at a church. Yeah, so that would be a church subscription. But if you're using it like for the midweek, then you can, um, it doesn't have to just be a Sunday morning. You can use those activities and things however best fits for you guys. Yeah, so the family and the church, just the lesson plans themselves are set up for family to use throughout the week, and the church is one time a week. So that's kind of the difference there. All right, let me pull my slides back up here. All right, so another question that I get a lot is what ages can the curriculum be used for? And we have people who are using it all the way from preschool all the way to adults. So it's very adaptable, especially because you can use it all those different levels to meet the needs of different students. So we have some people who add some additional things for our adult learners. We have a private Facebook group for our curriculum community. And right now, some of those people are sharing extra files of things that they're adding, like discussion questions, some like just extra like journaling page type things for adults. So those are available to you. We're looking at how we can add some additional resources for adults as part of the curriculum as well in the next year. All right, so I want to share a video with you here from a current subscriber. This is Kathy from Prestonwood Baptist Church in Plano, Texas. And just wanted you to hear from her and how they're using it and what a difference it has made for them. So let me share that video with you here. It's about 2 minutes long.
Hi, my name is Kathy. I am the special needs minister at Prestonwood Baptist Church at the North Campus here in Prosper, Texas. I have been using On Wonder curriculum since December of 2023, and it has been an absolute game changer for our ministry. For so long, I was in children's ministry and was the minister to children of our church here in Prosper, and was asked to step out of children's and to be the minister of special needs. It's two different ministries here at our church. And one of the things that I really struggled with in that role was curriculum and trying to use what preschool and elementary was using, and then to use that for those with special needs for preschool all the way through adults was a challenge. And so I was so grateful and so excited when I found On Wonder and just the adaptability that it has and the thoroughness that it has, but most importantly, the biblical accuracy that I see in On Wonder is unbelievable and top notch. Um, for years, I would help write curriculum for elementary. And so I knew when I wrote curriculum that it would be great for 95% of my first through third graders or preteens, whoever I was writing for. But we who are in that special needs or that disability ministry area, we know that you can't take one piece and apply it to all of those with special needs. And so, what I love about On Wonder is that as I'm using it and as I'm able to kind of tweak things here and there for it, it is so much more intentional for the individuals and for the friends that I have the privilege of ministering to every week. And so we use it for preschool. Our youngest is actually a 2-year-old, all the way up through our adults with special needs. My oldest one is 78 years old. And our ministry averages about 80, and we're nearing 90 for that average. And so we have a very large and healthy ministry, and On Wonder just fits all the boxes. So I'm very grateful to Courtney, very grateful to On Wonder, because the gospel really is for everyone.
All right, so I hope that was helpful just to hear from a current subscriber and how it has helped them. So another question that I get asked a lot is how much does it cost? So our church subscription, if you are looking at 1 to 25 students that you're using it for licensing, that starts at $35 a month. If you go with the annual subscription, you get basically 1 month for free. So that would be $385 is where that starts. With this, just so you're still understanding kind of how it works, it's not like you would get one full year of curriculum. If you sign up for the annual, you still get the like 3 months at a time as a church subscriber. You just get access to the dashboard for a year. With that annual subscription, I'm continually actively writing the curriculum, so I'm not able to provide you the full year. I'm not quite that far ahead, so that's kind of how that works. But then if you have 26 to 75 students and then 76 students and up, those are how that tiers go. And then if you are looking for a family subscription, that's licensed for one family unit, and it's $20 a month or $220 a year. Now, if you are interested in joining, I really suggest that you join now because rates will be increasing slightly this coming Saturday, July 13th. So I've offered an introductory price for the first year of the curriculum. And so as we hit that 1 year mark, those prices will be going up. So if you sign up by tomorrow, Friday, July 12th, you can lock in those current rates. So it will never change as long as you have an active subscription. You can have that lowest rate that we'll be offering. So rates won't be going up crazy, just about $5 a month for that lowest tier, up to $20 per month based on the tier that you're using. So definitely, if you're interested, try and subscribe before Saturday so you can lock in that lower rate. So when I open it up, if you have any questions at all, I would love to answer those for you. And then I'm going to be sharing the link to the additional resources for you. Jimmy, I see your question here. So each month I provide a different type of memory verse activity. So I do those occasionally where you can fill in the blanks, but that's not something that I do every month. All right, does anybody have any other questions? All right, well, if you do not have a question here, I'm going to put my email address in the chat box for you. And feel free to email me. I'm happy to answer any questions. I will be going on vacation on Saturday. So after that, it may take me a little bit longer to get back with you, but usually within a couple of hours, I will respond to you. So you can reach out anytime that you have a question. And I'm going to go ahead and share the link for the sample. Maybe. Hold on just a sec. There we go. That should pop up here on the screen for you. And you can access that Google Drive folder. You can download all from the folder. Within that, you only have level B of the curriculum for May. So I didn't include all of it, but you can see an example of level B. And then you have access to one week of like the lesson guide, the craft, the activity pages, all of those kind of things. All right, well, I'm going to leave this up for just a few minutes, but otherwise, thank you so much for coming. I am just honored that I get to walk alongside so many churches and families in the journey of discipleship for students with disabilities. And so I look forward to hopefully working with you as well. And I'm always happy to answer any questions, so reach out anytime.